Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing you a dry fly pattern this week. This week it's a caddis pattern. I fish lots of caddis. Whenever I'm fishing a dry fly, it's almost always a caddis in my area. We just don't get the big mayfly hatches like we used to. And this is going to be just a good all-around, match the hatch kind of caddis. It's called the Dusty Old Bat. Here you're going to see a picture of it, the material list, and a video on how to tie it, and then I'll come back and talk a little bit more about it after that. Alright, here you see the Dusty Old Bat in the vise. Pretty cool looking caddis pattern. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using the Holsinger's Fly Shop all-purpose Nymph hook. It's got a little bend to it. I like that. And it's lightweight. Makes a good dry fly hook too. I like the curve to it. For thread, I'm using some pale olive 6/0 classic wax thread from Semperfli. Just going to put that on in the middle. Get back here to the bend. And put a couple wraps here to create an egg. You don't have to do this. You definitely do not have to do this. Just caddis have an egg sometimes, and I like to throw that on there. It's just an added little touch. Now, for dubbing, I'm using some CDC dubbing from from Folding Mills, and this is brown is the color on here. Use whatever color dubbing or whatever kind of dubbing you have. Just keep it thin. That's what I like about this CDC dubbing. You can make it really, really thin, and it's going to be floatable, so it makes for a good dry fly dub. It'll work great for nymphs too, but it'll work great for dry flies. Just put it on there, wrap it up towards the front, and keep it thin, most important part. Next thing we're going to put on is the underwing. For the underwing, I'm using some ultra dry yarn from Folding Mills. This color is tan, and I'm just going to put that on, leave it hang out over the front, and wrap it back there, and then we're going to double it back. So I'm using one strand, and I'm doubling it up. This stuff is great. It holds floatant well. That's why I like to use this stuff over other products, because it holds floatant real well and just rides real nice. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to go right behind the bend of the hook there, and that's the distance I want to cut that off at. Keeping it short. I don't want a real long wing here, and just trying not to overdo this fly. So next thing we're going to use is some deer hair. I like to look for a fine, like a Comparadun, spinning deer hair, anything that's not spinning deer, mainly Comparadun. That's a nice short one. Anything that's nice and thin, that's not real bulky. Gonna cut off a section of that, put it in my hair stacker, stack the fibers up, give it a couple smacks there, and then by putting it in the hair stacker, that'll straighten up all those ends. And we're just gonna pinch it by the ends, pull them out. Now that's a little bit much. I'm going to pull some of them out because that's a little bit bigger wing than I want. And there we go. We got our wing for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set that right on top, get that where I want, and then I'm going to transfer it into my other finger so it's behind it. And then I like to make one wrap. You see there, I made one wrap just around the fibers of the deer hair, kind of loose. Get it on top, get it placed where I want it. Make one or two wraps and then tighten it down. That holds it in place, gets everything where I want. Then I'm going to make a couple wraps through the deer hair. That'll help keep it from spinning. And then we're going to gather up all that deer hair and trim it off. And I want to get this as close as I can without cutting my thread or too much of the deer hair. There we go. Now, that our head section there, that's good. We got a nice little wing. Now I'm going to get back in, make sure that both sides, the deer hair is riding on the top exactly like I want. Going to get back in with just a touch of dubbing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a really thin little noodle here on my thread. And I'm literally going to change the color of my thread here, as I like to say. And I'm just going to make this head brown on this fly. Okay. See there, I changed the color of the thread like I want. Now I'm going to make a dubbing loop and we're going to finish this fly off. The last part of the wing here. I'm going to put some CDC on. And I'm going to take 2 CDC feathers, stack them on top of each other, side by side. You can see I already took this feather and cut the one side off. It's already, there's 2 feathers, stack them together, trim them off, put it in my clamp, and it's ready to go in my loop here. So I'm going to make my loop, use my dubbing twister, make my loop, and then put our CDC fibers in the loop, give that a twist. Try to get the fibers right to the edge there, you see? And then give it a twist, they'll spin around. And then we're just going to wrap this on. And with each wrap, we're going to pull the fibers back. This is going to make a really buggy front end on here and make it more buoyant. Wrap that right up to that eye and tie it off. I get about 2-3 wraps here. Trim off my loop. And then we're going to clean this up. So make a couple more wraps. Don't overdo it. And we'll finish our head off and we're done with this fly. And there you see you got a nice buggy caddis. I like to do 2 smaller whip finishes instead of 1 big one. 2 smaller knots that I can control a lot better. There you go. Pull your fibers back. You got any really long ones, you can just trim them off with your thumbnail. And you got a nice buggy caddis there. There you go, the dusty old bat. Okay guys, I hope you like this pattern. I know I do. I fish a lot of caddis patterns, and this is just another one that I'm adding to my box. We got some samples in from Fooling Mills, and I saw this pattern and I really liked it, so I had to break down on how to tie it. And it's actually pretty easy for me. I've been tying a lot of flies, so you know it's not that hard, and you'll get it too with a little bit of practice. So have fun tying, guys. You want me to tie any of them for you, I would be more than happy to. Just reach out to me at holsingersflyshop.com or sorry, at gmail.com. But if you need any of the materials, you can find all that at holsingersflyshop.com. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Shawn Holsinger.